Hello and welcome to another episode from Aquarians tutorials. Now chapter 6, importing historical market data for stocks and options. So we'll start with stocks, and one source for free historical stocks data is Yahoo Finance. So you can type the ticker here. Type NKA. Okay, Nike. And you can click here on historical data and select the period. So I'll select from 2006, 0101 until December 31, 2021. So this data, come on, download it. Take a look in downloads. And it looks something like this. Now, to import it in the Aquarians database, okay, so to import it, I'm going to config properties and enable import Yahoo stock prices, and I'm going to specify the folder. Go in this folder, and I'm just going to rename it Nike.y because I don't want this symbol. I will import it from somewhere else and I don't want the name taken. So it will also import any files that you have here. So I'm going to download a few more, like Google. Pausing until I do that because it takes some time. Resuming. So I downloaded also Google, the class A and class C stocks. So I've set the folder where it finds the data. Enabled this job. And let's run it. Okay, it's importing. And it finished. It tries to also open a directory, it doesn't matter. So let's run it with no job enabled, which means it will start in graphics mode. And take a look at Nike. NKA.y. So it looks like this. Okay. But there is a problem with Yahoo prices, and you see it here in case of splits. So Yahoo doesn't make any distinction of prices before or after the split. It's all adjusted to them, which is fine for some types of simulations, but for options, this is useless because options are quoted. So the option strikes are quoted in the real prices on the market, which means prices before or after this. And with Yahoo, you have no information on that. So you will have to download the data from somewhere else. Like I'm downloading it from these guys, historical options data. They have several types of subscriptions. So you can, first of all, download historical options data, one sample at end of day for each option on each optional underlier. That's around 10,000 underliers, around 1 million option quotes per day, every day since 2001, all for just $1,000. Okay, and how does that data look? Something like this. Okay, and you can see that's a lot of data, almost 250 gigabytes. And I'm only using data from 2006 till 2021. Okay, and we are at stocks now. You can also find, okay, you've downloaded data once, but if you need updates at end of day, you can subscribe for this stuff. I also have this subscription. And at each end of day, you can connect on FTP and download all the history for today. So all option prices, one snapshot at end of day. That's options. And you can subscribe for stock updates at end of day. So you get the daily bar, open, high, low, close of the stock, plus the whole history since 2001, along with the stock splits and dividends. But I'm only interested, so I left here just from 2006 till 2021. So you're paying around $800 a year, unless you buy it now and you have a 40% purchase if you buy now, so it will be just around 500. So hurry up and get it now. Okay, let's take a look at the data. So it looks like this, and I'm going to show you Nike, how it differs from Yahoo. So this is the stock split on the 3rd. Now, Yahoo gets it right. It's on the 3rd of April, but the price before the split, it closed at 106, and it next day it closed at 53. So you can see that these prices are totally from a different planet, so useless. Options will be quoted at strikes around 100 before the split and strikes around 50 after the split. So if you're going to do options simulations, you will need prices from actual prices of the stocks. Okay, so this is the data. I'm going to import it. So how do I import it? Enable import historical stock prices jobs. Let's take a look. Okay, so I've specified data and data unpack stocks. The regex for the file, stock history, because there are also other files I don't want them loaded. And optionally, and I'll specify that as an underlier CSV. Otherwise, it will import all the stocks, around 10,000. I'm not interested in all of them, so I just selected around 300, 320. So some Standard and Poor's. How many? 240. So took the list from here and only the stocks that were listed before 2006 or something. So I'm not interested in the latest ones, only the ones that have some history, some long history. And some ETFs, the list from here, but took out bonds because bonds are weird and I don't like them. So also have a different model from stocks. You generally want to don't mix trading on different types of instrument. Commodities are different from bonds, and volatility is different from stocks. So I'm just going to showcase trading on stocks and ETFs and indexes. They are similar. Okay, so this is it. Just these underliers. Okay, just start the import. So this is enabled. Take a look. Okay, it's waiting. Stop it. And start the application. And it started import. It will take a while. So I'm going to pause until it finishes. Alrighty, it finished. So we can take a look at the data. Comment everything, start it in graphics mode. So just start it, it will start in graphics mode. Open Nike.y, which is from Yahoo, and open our, like the option, the raw data, Nike. Alrighty, and what we see here are splits. So on these dates, we zoom, we see that the price jumped from around 105 to around 55, just like we saw it here. So on the third, so 106 to 53, from 106 to 53. So it's exactly what we saw in the data. Okay. And if we are going to do, so we don't necessarily need that, but we might also use stock splits. And for that, we are going to import them as well, which means import stock splits job. Run this thing, specify the folder. So as I said, if you buy data from these guys, you'll also get dividends and stock splits. You find stock splits. I also found them on Kaggle. It's so how it looks. So stock splits looks something like this. The regular format and Kaggle looks something like this. So you can import either of them. I'll import a regular format from historical options data. Let's run the thing. Okay, I imported the splits as well. Comment everything. Start in graphics mode and compare the Yahoo graph chart with Nike.y with the adjusted one from historical options data. Nike. Okay, so let's click adjusted, and visually it's the same thing. Now, as values, it won't be the same, but it totally doesn't matter because we are not going to use the adjusted values. We are going to use the raw values in simulation because options are quoted as at raw values, as we'll see, but just for the sake of comparing the data, we see that visually it's the same thing. Okay, so we are done with stocks, and now we are going to import options, which means enabling this job, and it's going to find the data here in options. The format, it's either BB options or options. So for your curiosity, BB options is this data that you download once, and options, it's the data that you download for subscription at end of day. Okay, so it will find either of these. Some configurations like it has some underlayer like SPXW, which doesn't exist. So I'm redirecting it. I'm just overwriting it with SPX. Okay, but another problem is that this data is huge. So as we saw, it's 250 gigabytes. It will take forever to get imported, and we don't need all of it. So instead, I'm going to import just a few, like 32 selected. So I selected some stocks and some, have I put Nike here? No. What do we take out? NAM. I don't know what NAM is. We'll put Nike. Okay, Nike. So we are going to import only this 32. And I'm going to say options, option underliers. So everything fine, let's hope. For I'm going to put a breakpoint here. Just okay. It started the import options, found BB options, fine. I have only 302, so it won't import everything. Well, it seems like it's fine. So let's run it. And it will take how much time? A few seconds per day, but it has a lot of days. So again, I'm going to pause it until it finishes. So I'm back. The original import took a lot of time. So if we are taking a look at it, it started around 19 in the evening and completed around 19 the next evening. So it took 24 hours, which is way too long for an import. Okay, it has to pass 250 gigabytes of data, but still something must be done. So I looked into it and optimized the import code, so now it should run much faster. So what do we do now? First, if we take a look at the database, it has constraints and indexes, and the general consensus is to drop them while doing an import. So I drop them. Okay, no more indexes or constraints. And the other thing to do is to use bulk inserts instead of just simple inserts. So still only commit every, I don't know, 100,000 rows. But the important thing is to, let's take a look at the single insert. So the single insert is inserting just one value. The bulk insert is inserting several values, 10 in this case, at a time. And it should run much faster. Okay, so with these improvements, let's rerun the import. Okay, start it. Where it seems to run faster. So I'm going to wait until it's done and pause the recording and get back when it's ready. Okay, the job completed. It started at 21:48, ended at 0:29, so 21:48, 0:29, about 2.6 hours, 160 minutes. So since the unoptimized import, which used regular inserts instead of bulk inserts, took 24 hours, this one is about 9 times faster, which seems related with the fact that I'm using 10 inserts at a time. So maybe adding more will speed up things even more. Maybe it's just a limit at some point. Let's see how many records were imported. So around 461 million times that many seconds. That means around 50,000 records per second. So I don't know. I suppose it's not very bad. And afterwards, I recreated the indexes. So this took another 15 minutes. So overall, it's still better probably to create the index at the end and do the import without them. Okay, now let's take a look at the data, which means start the software in graphics mode. So make sure there aren't any jobs enabled, and then you have to configure the regular run of the application without, so not the job one, but the regular flow, which means which day to start, which day to end. So this is the data that I imported. I just want a single underlier at the time, so I just want to examine this one and make sure you put the model to market in this case, which means no pricing model. I mean, like, at this point, we'll discuss, I'm not going to discuss pricing models now, we'll discuss them later, so I don't want that in the way. So notice how it starts on 2006 January 1 and continues until December 31. So let's start. January 1 is probably not a trading day, so advance until on the 3rd of January, we start to have data. So notice how the data looks. We have various terms. So option terms, the spot price, so the price of the Nike stock, it's 85.95 at that time. Let's take a look at that also. So look at the stocks. Let's make this bigger. Nike, load it, use points and zoom here. Okay, so 85.95, so almost 86, which is exactly what you also see here. And the strikes are configured around the price of the stock. So various terms. Now we can advance manually, or in case when we'll do automated simulations, we'll run continuously, but I don't want to do that now. And another thing I want to check is, let's zoom the whole. So zoom the whole graph and notice that we had these splits. So what happens with options around the splits, and why we need why we need stock prices, real stock prices, and not the adjusted ones from Yahoo. So let's zoom here. Actually, let me wait a bit. All right, so let's look exactly what the splits are through an SQL query. And we have it on 3rd of April. So on the 3rd of April, it's a split of 2. Okay, so let's advance. So start this thing on 2007. 2007, April, well, a bit earlier. Let's take February, for instance. Start now. 2007, January 1, start. Okay, so we have the price at this time. It's around on the 5th of January. It's around 100, so somewhere here. And there will be a split in April. So do we have April, June, January. Let's next year. So well, they are still the strikes are still positioned around the current spot price, so they are oblivious to the fact that there will be a split. But the strike level, whatever the maturity, it's around the current spot price, which is this thing 90. Let's stop it and move it just before the split, which is April, Sunday, Monday on the 3rd. So move it to Friday, March. Start. This is Friday, March. Let's zoom here. $106, so somewhere here 106, and then it goes to 50. Let's look here. So the current spot is 105, strikes are positioned around it. This one will expire, so choose the April 20. Okay, next. And I think now there will be the split. So the strikes should reposition themselves around the new stock price. And you've seen it. So the day before we had strikes around 100. Now we have strikes around 50. So everything was jumped to reflect the new reality in stock prices. Advance. So from now on, we have strikes around 50. And this will happen for any other split, like we have another split here. What date exactly? 2012 December stop. So 2012 December. What December 26? Let's move a bit earlier. December on the 26th, move to 24. Start. What are the prices on the 24th of December? Still around 100. Okay, so they got back to 100 and will get split by 2 again. And on the 26th, will jump to 50. So we are now on 24. 25 remains the same. And on 26, again, the spot has jumped to 50 and the strikes are repositioned around 50. So that's pretty much it for the data import. We have covered stocks and options, and how to import them, how they look like, the thing with stocks and splits. And thank you very much. Next chapters will be about data validation, and then we can actually start running some strategies and see how they fare. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.